The answer is take the win and run.
I get hung up on certain things.
I have OCD, Jake.
I mean, hi guys, my name's Jeff. I'm an equal opportunity lover, you guys know that.
But wouldn't the dog want to stay on the meat wagon?
We say you can convince the dog to hop off.
That's insane!
Yeah, I'm intelligent.
That's such a Jeff answer right there.
He's handsome, curly-haired, and Jewish, sitting right here.
Jeff, you are a golden retriever.
Hey Jake, that's what you kids call that drip, right?
It was good despite the gastric consequences, but call me the crystal ball here, man. I'm getting everything right except my own picks. That's really, to me, a battle of two of the coaches with the best hair.
Welcome to the E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Founded in 2013, the EHL is your next step on the path to college. Over the past decade, the EHL has established itself as the college placement leader on the East Coast. And now, here's your host, the commissioner of the Eastern Hockey League, Neil Ravin.
Thanks, Jim. With that, let's bring in Jeff and Jake. We're post-showcase guys, and we have an interview on this podcast. First off, how are we feeling? Because I'm still kind of fighting the sickness a little bit over here.
Exhausted with a capital E, commish, would be the only proper adjective right now.
Perfect.
We'll sleepy. We'll sleepy for sure.
Yeah,
That's
why you have that Islanders Santa hat, whatever you want to call it, on.
Oh yeah. It's that time of the year, baby.
Well, I have to say, Jake, you had many interviews this past week, obviously, because it was a showcase. But one of your best was with today's guest. So I'm going to let you introduce him because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably was, the best interview of the showcase after the best game of the showcase.
Yes.
After this guy, Florentin Fally-Puskás, went 5 for 5 in the shootout against the New Hampshire Avalanche to get that W for the New Jersey 87s. Flo, thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
I think this is the first non-American goalie we've ever had on the podcast, too.
Oh, I think it is. I think you're right.
So,
which is awesome.
It's kind of like a milestone and kind of some pressure too. I guess you could say, but he's a goalie, so used to that pressure. So let's start with the easy one because this is something that I don't even know. You're back home in Austria. What time is it in Austria right now? This is early for us right now.
No, it's 2 p.m. already.
Okay, so he's mid-afternoon. We're still rubbing the sleep out of our eyes for 8 a.m. here.
Yeah.
Well, he's already had breakfast, lunch. He's getting ready for dinner soon.
I wouldn't mind that.
Right.
But Jake brought up really the game of the showcase, and we'll touch on this more, throughout the podcast. Obviously, there was some adversity, I guess you could say, that we had to deal with the showcase. But in terms of that particular game, there was probably more people watching that game. You guys could attest to this, I think, than any game I've ever had, because we probably had the 2 teams on the ice and then 5 teams watching, plus the crowd itself. Did you notice the crowd watching the game while you were on the ice?
Yeah, a little bit for sure, especially at the end, like when they were standing next to the boards and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just tried to block them out a little bit.
That's fair. Did you notice that, Jake? I mean, it felt like everybody in the building was on that side.
Yeah, I mean, it was the only game going on, right?
True.
Yeah.
Where else were you going to be? And I think people would want to be there anyway, but you just got the extra from the teams that were lingering around for sure.
Yes.
It was a packed house. It was true.
And Jake mentioned in the interview going 5 for 5 in the shootout, but you also had a penalty shot in regulation. And I know that didn't go as well as the shots in the shootout, but did that kind of make you feel more amped up, I guess you could say, once you got to the shootout?
Yeah, for sure. It just kind of reminded me again, what I want to do in a shootout, and yeah, prepared me a little bit. Yeah.
Did you at all feel rattled because you had already was that in your head at all that you had already let in a one-on-one kind of situation, or no?
No, not really. No.
So you're kind of guy that probably has short-term memory and Flo, if I'm being honest, being that I was on the call for that, I think you might have had a gripe. I don't think that was supposed to be a penalty shot. I might want to talk to Evan Reddick about that one.
Yeah. Definitely not a penalty.
I feel like Tremblay got his shot off. You made the right pad save. That's just me. I'll leave the refs to ref and I'll broadcast.
Yeah, no, I think I was. Yeah.
That's what it looked like on the replay. But I know, I mean, all jokes aside, yeah, you seem like you're a kind of guy that definitely has a short-term memory looking at obviously what you've done, right? In the last 10 games, you've won 10 straight. How were you able to reset? You know, the first 4 starts didn't go your way in New Jersey, but since then you've rattled off 10 straight wins.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got like a better feeling after every game, and just feel like with my routines during the game, it just worked now, like better than the first couple games. I don't know.
As a team, though, I think we've kind of joked on this podcast. The difference in the 87s from the October showcase to the December showcase feels rather drastic. And it's hard not to point at the welcoming back of Landon Adams. I know you weren't on the team last year, but he was there. And the welcoming back of Alex Lakoff from 2 years ago. Did it feel like an energy change in the locker room when those two guys returned to New Jersey?
Yeah, for sure. We were scoring a lot of more goals then, and just like helps you as a goalie to kind of know that team is gonna score a couple, even if you let them in a little more.
Does it help you in practice facing, two of, we could say, the best shooters in the league?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you just get these reps every day, and yeah, it makes you better. Yeah.
I'm sure.
And going back to that Avs game real quick, I know it wasn't the first game of the showcase for you guys. So how did Coach Hooley prepare you guys? Was there anything done, the week before, or was it after the Jacks game?
We had a video session on Monday already, I think, kind of highlighting what the Avs were gonna do, like what we want to do against them, and that was our like main focus that game probably. And yeah, I think we were a little tired in the Tuesday game, and yeah, we just like got motivated again to like play better. Yeah.
When did you know you were getting the Avs game?
He told me a couple of days earlier. Yeah.
Okay, so you knew going in you were getting the biggest game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
How pumped were you when you heard that you got the call there, Flo?
Yeah, very pumped for sure. Yeah.
Is Coach Hooley intimidating? If you didn't know him, would you feel intimidated by him?
Probably, yeah.
I could just imagine if I was a player and he called me in for a meeting and he's like, "You're playing the Avs game." Is it like, "All right, end of conversation, now get out," or is there extended follow up afterwards?
Not really a lot.
Okay.
Like he's just telling like his kind of plan or what he is thinking about, and then you're like, okay, thank you, and then that's it basically. Yeah.
I could see that. He could be very short and sweet, I would feel like.
I was a little scared of Hooley until the college series my first year.
Yeah.
He does.
I mean,
he does give off that serious.
He's one of the best dudes in the world, but like his resting face is not the most welcoming. I think we can all agree.
Valid point. I think Adam would agree with that.
Has he? I know we don't want to look ahead right now, but obviously with the way the 87s are playing, I think the aspirations are, get all the way and win the whole thing, right? But if you're able to win your division, I don't know if you know this, you go to the regional finals, which are at Trinity College, which is where Coach Hooley played his college hockey. Has that come up at all? Because there is some extra motivation I could tell from him to get to Trinity.
No, not really. Actually, it's the first time I heard about that.
Okay, so it hasn't come up yet. He hasn't brought it up yet. That. But I do have to, while we have him on the podcast, I was thinking of this leading up to the interview, because I don't know if you probably don't know this either, but Jeff is our PA announcer in Providence. There's the part of me, I know we can't cheer for certain teams, guys, on this podcast.
Speak for yourself, dude.
Jake, listen, it's for me, not for you, obviously. It's more me and Jeff. But Jeff, this could be one of the best names for you to introduce at Providence. Can we get a small preview of what this could sound like if Flo and the 87s make it?
Wake up your neighbors, man.
Well, no, he's in New Hampshire. He's up in New Hampshire. There's no neighbors. That's where true. He is right now.
No. And it's obviously, so you go by Flo, not Florentin. Flo.
Yeah, everybody's calling me.
For Providence, I want you to say the full name for Providence.
Oh, I mean that U. I'm gonna have to ride the U in the last name and the Y. Neil knows I like the vowels, so I don't know. I think I gotta wait. I can't tease it because I don't want Hooley. I also don't want Hooley texting me. I don't want to give any like bad juju to the 87s. I was just texting with him after the showcase too about how much I liked his team and some other different stuff. And I could feel from our conversation it was a good like back and forth, but then I kind of steered back a little bit because I didn't want to, put myself in an area of getting in trouble. So
Jeff believes in the jinxes. I don't, but anyways.
it's the baseball in me, Neil. It's the baseball player in me.
Yes.
Flo, does Hooli still bump music during practice?
Yeah.
So as a goalie, is that difficult at all? Like, does it hurt you when you're just trying to clear your head and stuff, or have you gotten used to it?
Yeah, the beginning for sure, yeah, was a little weird, but now I just kind of blocked it out, yeah.
Are you a fan of his music choices?
Yeah, it's all right. I don't mind.
What was on Adam Hooley's Spotify Wrapped? Can you tell us?
No, of course not, but I'll be very interested to see that, yeah.
Lot of house music, a lot of techno, rap, little mixture of everything.
Yeah, a mixture of everything, I think, yeah.
Yeah, love
it. Is it as loud as we've heard it to be, the practice music? Because I tried calling him once and I didn't realize that you guys were practicing, and he answered, and it sounded like a rave was going on basically on the ice.
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know this. This is actually new to me. I didn't realize that you guys were.
He started doing it a few years ago because I think what a lot of coaches realize is that, in the beginning, I think you're practicing a lot of your systems and trying to get, the 87 way down. And then later in the season, you're kind of just going through the motions. You already know the system. So he wanted to mix it up, and he started playing the music. And then I called him once, and it was so loud, Jeff. I was like, you're practicing right now? It sounds like you're at the club, basically.
Jersey Shore, baby. They do it differently down there.
But you bring up Jersey Shore. Listen, none of the three of us have ever been to Austria, so we don't know what it's like there. But did it take some adjustment time for you to get adjusted to the Jersey Shore?
Yeah, for sure. Like, just like kind of everything almost is different, Like the houses, how the streets are set up and stuff, and how you go everywhere with the car, and yeah.
How many players are you living with? How many roommates do you have?
And I have 5 other ones. So we're 6 guys in the house.
So do they do the cooking or do you do the cooking?
Mostly I would say, but mostly for himself too. So like everybody kind of cooks for himself.
Well, you just earned brownie points with Jake because Jake's the big cook, right, on the podcast.
Dude, Flo, other like as far as like on ice adjustments go, like was there a shift from like the wider European rinks to like the angles of our rinks here in America?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot more space in Europe, yeah.
Did you feel like that was a difficult thing early on?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
And actually, Flo, I got an interesting question. How did you hear about the Eastern Hockey League? #3LL.
I mean, I know a couple guys who played in the US last season already. And then I don't know, just saw it like on the internet and stuff and heard only good things about it. So yeah.
Can you tell us who those guys were? Did they play in our EHL?
Yeah, they were a couple on the 87s actually. There was Gabriel Santa Maria, like I played in Austria already, and Vasily Vazin, who won the E-Championship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So was that how you got linked to the 87 specifically too?
A little bit for sure, but like not necessarily, no. Yeah. 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 Yeah, no, it's difficult. Like, I want to try and keep the American time a little bit so I don't feel tired when I come back. But right now it's still tiring. Yeah. It's like I woke up at like 10 a.m. here, which is then 4 in the morning, like American time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's definitely an adjustment.
Yeah, for sure. Trevor Blackburn. That sounds like the Trevor Blackburn schedule right there. But
yeah, right. Well, we're pumped to have you on. Like we said, the first non-American goalie we've ever had on the podcast, and it comes at the perfect time because, like Jeff said, 10 straight wins. The 87s are absolutely flying right now. I'm sure the break didn't come at the best time for you guys. I wish you probably wish that you were still playing. But coming back on the other side, how do you guys, return from break and keep the foot on the gas?
Yeah, we just kind of keep working. I hope we can get a couple guys back from injuries. So because there are still some guys injured.
Mhm.
So that would be great, and then yeah, we'll just keep working. Yeah,
For sure, for sure. And the 87s return on the 8th. Of course, it's against the Bears. Always a good matchup when those two teams get together. We're not going to put any pressure on Coach Julio right now to find out if that's your game. But if it is your game, we
I would
wish
guess
you
so.
we wish you the best of luck in that. And like I said, we
thank you.
appreciate you coming on the podcast and rest up while you can while you're home, but don't get too adjusted so you're good when you get back.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Flo.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas,
Flo.
Flo.
Merry
Thank
Christmas,
you
buddy.
too.
Thanks again to Florentin Fally-Puskás for coming on the podcast. Jeff, I wanted you to say it, but
I know you did.
I give you props for restraining. But you know as well as I do
Podcast tease right there.
that will be a booming name in Providence.
If I'm allowed to say such name, it will be amazing.
I want it. I want it. I'll say it right now. I want it.
I can't wait to see the text on the group text now. I can read them now. I can feel it.
Of course, we mentioned on the podcast that was one of the many showcase games this past week with some adversity along the way. But let's start breaking down what took place at the showcase and around the E Show.
Let's take a look at what's going on around the E Show.
So we'll start by addressing the elephant in the room, Jake. I am no longer delirious. At the end of the showcase, I was a little out of it. Jeff, you were calling games, but I was just...
He was straight silly. Like, he was like super whimsical. I don't know, man.
No, I can always tell too when I come back and Niels and is like, he just like has these like noise fits where he just goes, he's like, ah.
Yeah. No, it's a little scary. I don't really like being around him when he's like that. It's not #not my Raven.
Me and Christina call it breaking in our home when you're just like, we're like, are you broken? Are you breaking? We just have those little kind of fits, and Neil was definitely breaking in the back room.
It was just a long week. You know, we had the owners meeting Monday and Tuesday. Showcase
That's right.
began Monday, it went all the way to Thursday. I mean, there were some fantastic games. It was just busy. We had 45 schools show up. Like, it was one of the most well-attended showcases really in the history of the league. And it all leads up to the winter break, which I think it comes at the perfect time for all of us. So here I am defending my laughing bits. That's where I was by the end of it. By the end of Thursday, you know, I think Jake wanted to hang out more, but was like, all right, you should go home. So did you go to Nashville on Friday night?
Of course I went to Nashua, dude.
I'm sorry. Like I
You went where?
Nashua.
Oh, now it sounded like you said Nashville.
With it's a place in New Hampshire that Neil named his dog after.
No, the dog's named after Nashville, so
Nashua.
not in New Hampshire. But you know, you and Trevor
Incorrect.
can keep harping on that whole thing. Like, bleh. Anyways, like yeah, he ended up in Nashua. Was mad I didn't go to Nashua.
Oh, that was karaoke night, Jake.
No,
No.
his friends in a band, and Jake's
Incorrect.
gonna hold this against me for a while. So it's what.
Oh,
Correct.
okay.
Yes. But anyways, also on winter break now. It came at the perfect time following, really, it was a great showcase for all of our teams.
It was.
Especially because of the college, turnout. And we've touched on really that highlight game of the showcase between the 87s and the Avalanche.
Oh, so good.
But there were some other great games as well. I'll start with the Wolves, guys. I mean, I know we've touched on what the 87s have done and the Express with their still one regulation loss, but kind of ho-hum go the Wolves when it comes to showcases, right? I believe they have one total loss in showcase play so far this year. And does it feel like in a way they're kind of under the radar a little bit?
I would say so. Yeah. No, and yeah, I called their last game against the Bandits. They won 4-0, but they kind of won that game quickly, but they just looked like men on a mission. They just didn't stop the whole entire game. Even as they built that lead, you could just see everybody was just locked in, Tim Kuhns and Lou Latrell included on the bench, and everyone just kind of had a serious demeanor. And I think maybe, I don't know if they would admit it, but after that New Jersey 87s, New Hampshire Avalanche game, a team they're chasing, you could see and feel the spotlight in that game. I don't know. Maybe they just kind of felt a little bit, and they're like, guys, let's just, stay to work, stay on the grind, and we're still chasing the Avs for first in the North.
If they had a playoff game tomorrow, who would you start in net?
Ooh, Reardon looks really good the other day. but I haven't
Reardon is
seen
my boy.
Bukatovs yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Big.
and I mean, you talk about winning games quickly. I mean, they had 3 goals in the first 12 minutes of that Wizards game too. They
Yeah.
got 2 pucks like in the first like minute, maybe like 35 seconds or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like they came out flying in every game. They scored in the first minute and a half of the Nor'easter game too. I mean, those starts are defining at showcases when you feel like it's a little bit shorter, like it's just shorter enough that you feel like there's a little bit of more of a time crunch at the end there. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, giving so much love to that Wolves Premier team, like Wolves EHL team is storming along right now, and it was a great week for Ryan Tian and Marek Herda, and I mean they were rolling for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, Neil, that's a good point too. Think about how many goalie controversies we have right now. Is it Will Seagrave, Alex Girard? Is it Lucas Bukatovs? Is it Cam Reardon? There's going to be some hard decisions to make starting playoff game number 1.
And this is no shot at Cam Reardon, right? But I realized when break begins, it's my chance to kind of update the records pages and see, are there any records that are now being chased? Like we'll get to Alex Koenig and his 9 shutouts, but he's cracked into the top 10 all time. I did not realize this with Cam Reardon. He does not have a playoff win yet, guys. 0 for 4 so far. So, and you've seen our playoff series. They're only best of 3, right? So
they're quick.
You lose game 1, and it kind of the wheels can start turning very quickly. I myself, I think the experience, and then especially with the college series too, I would probably lean Reardon. But again, that's why we're on the podcast and we're not the coach. So
yes,
ultimately,
we just stir the pot. They make the decisions.
Ultimately, Tim Kuhn's call, right? We've talked about the Avalanche, touched on the Wolves. Let's get to the Lumberjacks. Jake called it a desperate showcase, and they just delivered.
Yeah, that was sweet. I mean, I got a lot of I don't know if it was chirping like entirely, but like Coach Gustin said, like he took those words to heart and like told the boys about it, and he was like, and he's like, I've been saying this for months, so like hopefully it gets through. And I mean, it did. I mean, to take on the 87s, that was a really gutsy win for them to kick things off, and I think that gave them confidence through. I mean, a couple games going outside regulation for them too, so super thrilling. Brayson Bennett getting his 3rd consecutive overtime winner, and then Gavin Burnson against the Bandits. But I think the big thing to note there is Cam Wickens got the nod in all 3 games, and Jeff, you picked him as your North Division guy. So did you see that coming, big dog?
I think a little bit. Wiki, the baddest dude in Revere. We're in Haverhill or north of Boston. It's Cam Wickens territory, so I feel like I saw it a little bit. But I mean, another thing too, Neil, you talked about, had a little bit of an issue at the showcase. How about some perseverance from the Lumberjacks? They get moved to a different building.
Yeah,
still win 2-1.
That last game.
That's kind of rattling. You're sitting around for hours waiting to figure out what we're going to do. Are we going to play? Are we going to have to play tomorrow? Start thinking about your flights home, that kind of stuff. It may seem like small potatoes to a lot of people, but that's big stuff. And for them to move over to Lawrence and win 2-1, that's huge to solidify the sweep. They needed all those points.
Yeah, for sure. We touched on being on break and kind of getting a chance to check out. What bothers me sometimes, guys, is like, not that I have this against any of the players, right? But I hate when like something comes up in my life and like the first thing I think of is a player. So I'm watching Red Zone yesterday and the Vikings have a highlight, and I'm like, why is my brain telling me that Cam Wickens is cheering right now? Like I love you, Cam, but like it's the only thing I can think of when I think of the Vikings now is Cam Wickens is happy somewhere, right?
He's in your head, in your head.
It's pretty routine.
Well, he's a Vikings fan from Mass.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It's not
an interesting cat.
So
that's just the 3L, baby. It's in your blood. It's in your brain. It's everywhere, Neil. You can't get rid of it.
I'm like, can I just watch Red Zone? I'm sorry, Cam.
Just shut the laptop.
Don't leave it at the rink. You can't leave this stuff at the rink. You bring it home with you, especially when it's Cam Wickens from Revere and the Minnesota Vikings are winning the Super Bowl.
And Jake, you saw it the other day. Neil tried so hard to be that meme. He did shut the laptop till 2025, but hey, Eastern Hockey League still in his brain.
Yes, exactly. Staying with the North, Jake, where does Sean Collins now rank for you amongst the coaches? Because I feel like he moved up this week.
Ooh.
I love all the coaches, man. Like, it'd be so hard. Like they're all just
political response from Jake. That's a me
Like,
response.
yeah, no, I mean, like,
You're
I
hanging out way
can't
too
rank,
much.
like, I'll rank teams all day long, but like, I can't rank human
When we
beings.
were waiting on the food and he brought the bag of trail mix in, underrated moment of the showcase. Were you in the room when he did that?
No.
Oh, we were
Oh,
waiting
I
on
missed that
the food
too.
was like coming in like an hour, and he brings in a bag of trail mix and says, "Here you go."
I mean, burying the lead too, Neil. How about the sweet new Warriors hats he gave us? Those things are sick. It's the Warriors coaching staff and the Seahawks coaching staff. Sean's like, "Hey Jefferson, you want a hat?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Well, you took mine. No, Jake took mine.
You gave me yours. What is happening?
Not many.
You try
Listen,
to,
here's the
you try to villainize me at every turn because I'm a darling and you're jealous.
listen, Jake. The issue really, since we have to just talk about it, is not many hats fit my head. Okay, so
Really?
yes.
You got like a big beam going on? I never really
I
noticed.
I have a big dome. I can't even like wear like those like new era fitted hats because like the bump comes out to like here and it looks like I have like a second head. Like it's like there are just so many hats that can fit my head and Jake, that's why I gave it to you.
Yeah, you gave it to me. I didn't just take it, dude. I'm not a thief, bro.
Fair, fair. East Division, text I received, question I received. How many
Is Alex
wins?
Koenig ready for the NHL? Probably. Yeah.
Well, how many? That will be a good one too. How many wins does it take for the team to be not one of the hottest teams in the EHL, but the hottest? I mean, 15 straight wins for the Express guys. I mean, how good is this team?
They stink. Duh. I mean, just kidding. No, and Miles, kid, thank you so much. We tried, buddy. Alex Koenig, thank you for all your points. We also tried, but I was beaten in fantasy. I still love the Express. I'll always love them there. Like I said, that was the junior team that I grew up next to back when they were the Walpole Stars. So I always got like a little thing of me from when I was a little kid, and I used to go to Iorio Arena. That's for Chris Sorrell and the rest of the gang that remember Ryan McGrath, all the old AJ Walpole Express peeps. But in all, it's like in all seriousness, that team is. That's why the other day I was talking to somebody and I was like, man, the Express, the Avalanche, the 87s, and then saying the Express and Avalanche, I'm like, only one of them can make it out of the Northeast regional finals. That's gonna be that's gonna be tough. I wish we could have both those teams. Can we go back to the old format, Neil, or no?
No, we
All right,
can't.
never
But
mind.
it
Too
does
late.
make doesn't it make
Damn it.
sense now why Jake immediately was like, I'm going to the Northeast? Because if
Yep.
it trends this way, like again, right now on paper, you could say that it could be Wizards versus Express in the East Finals, and then Wolves versus Avalanche in the North. That's kind of on paper where these
Paper,
teams stand
yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
right? Like obviously the Eagles, the Vermont, somebody
Lumberjacks, yeah.
can make a run. Whoever emerges from those two divisions, and then whoever emerges out of the Northeast Regional Final is going to be a battle tested hockey team. There's no
For
doubt
sure.
about it.
I would agree.
I love the throwback name though. Also, Jeff, the name before the name, Ioria Arena,
That's right, buddy.
because it's changed twice.
Iorio before. What was it?
It's changed twice. It was
It
Rodman, and
has.
then now Cadillac. Do you call
Say,
it
do you remember
Cadillac on your?
Iorio?
No, it was before. That was before me.
Oh wow, Justin does. And I got to
Yes.
smile at
Like,
him.
do I call it Cadillac? Were you gonna ask me?
Yeah. What do you when you say you're in Walpole? What do you?
What else would I call it?
I don't know. Like Rodman.
Jake the Steel Arena? No, it's
you-
not called Rodman.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow,
Hey.
snappy Jake, easy.
Call it the Caddy, dude.
I mean, Jake wants to go on break. Clearly. Anyways,
Dude,
they have
Number.
11 games in January. Everyone can
Wow.
kind of dictate their schedule differently. What do you guys think about that? You know, coming back from the break, you have a busier January than you do February, in anticipation for the playoffs. 11 games in a 31-day stretch.
I mean, I think it's good and with how they're playing, and then now you work in the rest factor too. I'm sure they're all going to be eager to get back, and I actually kind of like that. I mean, you got Dukes, you got Bandits, you got like a whole different kind of array of teams too. Hockey Club Rhode Island, the Nor'easter.
No.
Actually, they're playing Rhode Island 3 different times. Holy heck!
Yeah.
Jake, your other favorite team, Hockey Club Rhode Island. You see
Oh,
them a
man.
bit.
I don't know about that, but they're in my top 20 EHL teams for sure. Like, there's no doubt about that. But no, I'm pumped, and like I mean, you just rip Toth Koenig. There's a ton of depth on this team, right? Like They've had like kind of a rotation going on in their bottom six. Like keep that going, keep guys fresh. Like they're gonna keep on rolling here, and like they're gonna be backstopped by the best goalie in the EHL.
Oh,
And like
Jake, I know you
that's
saw
just
them. You were next to me the other night. Those rips from Ville Bowden the other night. Woo.
oh my God. I mean, the
thought those were
second
going
one
toward the
was
net.
great. The second one was
Yeah.
great. Like, no, not a lot of people in the league can do what he did on that second one. The first one, nobody can do that. That
Stinky
was a
cheese.
college hockey release.
Yeah, Max Tong episodes ago, Neil said college shot. Ville Bowden, also college shot.
Should we play our favorite podcast game with Jake?
Who are they?
Well,
Uno?
no, it's not. Who are they? Because they've won
Oh.
15 straight games. We know who they are, right? But
I
when
missed
does
that. Yeah.
when does the winning streak go until, Jake?
Oh,
Oh.
and I'm out. See you guys. Have a good Christmas. See you later.
No,
Jake, you can
I'll
do this on your own.
I'll give a date. I'll give a date and an
Just give it a
opponent
date.
right here. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not gonna back down anymore. The
You ain't
Wolves don't
scared?
intimidate me. I'll go.
Oof.
I will never end. That's my prediction.
Wow.
I think it goes
Alter
until
January?
the last the Frozen Finals versus the New Jersey.
26-0?
All right,
Just like
so
Miles
they've
Kane.
won 15 straight plus 11 in January. This is math 101, everyone. That's
26.
26 plus February.
Oh,
1, 2,
you're
3,
saying
4,
all
5, 6.
season. It's never going to end. I thought
Yep.
you were
It's
saying just
never gonna end.
Yeah, third.
Oh, my God.
February takes it to 34. March we go up to 38. And then Jake is predicting a perfect postseason. So that's 4 to get to the regional final. So that's 42. The regional final brings us up to 44, and the Frozen final brings us up to 46. So a 46 game winning streak for the Express. That would set the record, I think.
I was going to say, so Joe Mataskiel from our Philly Hockey Club, guess what? Your Philly Revolution from 17-18, their 41 regular season wins in jeopardy heavily. Rocky Russo's Little Flyers, 30-game winning streak, 2016-17. You're also in jeopardy.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Yes.
It's either never or Jan 25 versus Providence.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Jan 25. Got it.
Yeah.
It's either never.
Then he comes back with the specific date.
Those are the two. Those are the only two options as far as I'm concerned.
Like,
Can you tell us how it happens? Is there like a little slip up on the blue line, little collision?
Declan Kelly, Michigan.
Oh,
God.
okay.
And Coach Coda and Coach Robertson just smashed their whiteboards on the bench.
To the rest of the East Division, we touched on the Express already. The Wizards won a pair of their games at the showcase. The Eagles, it feels like every game they're in, guys, is a 1-goal, 2-goal hockey game. Like every game that they're in feels that close to me.
Yeah.
And then we touched on, what Coach Collins had to say throughout the showcase. But when the Warriors coaching staff is in the same room as the Seahawks coaching staff, you have no shot. You just have no shot. Like it's just all laughs. And the Seahawks right now, talking about their race with the Bandits is as entertaining as it gets in the league. And we have to say thanks because we had to push 2 games over to Lawrence. And the scorekeepers in Lawrence were Ryan McGrath from the Warriors and Mike Richard from the Seahawks. And Mike was talking about when they were scorekeeping the Bandits game, just running the clock if he had to, because
Oh my God.
they obviously the Seahawks are chasing the Bandits. It was just so entertaining listening to them talk about it. We had so many laughs.
During a time of immense need and stress, that was stress relieving for sure.
They delivered some levity for sure.
We were all feeling it.
But we bring up the Seahawks because obviously they are playing better of late in a similar fashion to kind of the 87s, right? An addition to the locker room, and I know this is going to hit a little home for Jake, but the addition of Cade Chapman coming in, guys, you've seen a spark with this team. On the spot, Jeff, you're wearing a Seahawks sweatshirt. Who gets in? Seahawks or Bandits?
I think
it's tough. It's really tough.
I'm gonna go Seahawks. I mean, I'm wearing the sweatshirt. Gotta go Seahawks. But no. But in all seriousness, after seeing, I call both teams games over the week, Yeah, I think the Seahawks do. They have an extra gear. They're starting to find it a little bit. Maybe it is the Chapman effect. Isaac, I think, needs this holiday break more than anyone. Because he went in the game after Chapman and he struggled a bit. He looked like he was kind of struggling to see pucks. He looked like he was kind of fighting them and not letting them come to him like he usually does. I mean, Bill Zanaboni would know the best, being a former goalie himself. But yeah, I think Isaac needs a break. Maybe Kate Chapman spells him a little bit. The kid's seen a ton of rubber in the last 2 years, and this year in particular, they were riding him as hard as they possibly could. And then, kind of a cool story though. Chapman comes in. Isaac got hurt in practice, and then Coach Zanaboni was like, "Cade, you're in tomorrow. You're starting." He was like, "I just got here, Coach. Yeah, you're starting tomorrow." He was like, "Okay." And then he wins 3 straight. I mean, how cool is that? That's what sports is all about. So, but I just think the Seahawks have a little. I think with Cashel, Keo had a great showcase. How awesome is that to see him back up and running? And he looks really phenomenal. Plamondon, fresh off his commitment to St. John Fisher. Yeah, I think they just have some guys. I think they'll just edge out the Bandits by a small margin. I think it's gonna be close to the end, but go Seahawks.
Listen, if Coach Hooley is intimidating, Bill Zanaboni is times 2.
Oh, yeah, just go ask a certain someone. They'll tell you that too.
Oh.
To the
We'll leave that for the off-air episode.
which we haven't ever had one of those, but we could have one.
We
now.
should though. It's coming. It's coming, baby.
Listen, Jake is so mad at me, and he wants to go on break. Maybe we need it right now. So
What are you gaslighting me for, man?
Because I didn't go to Nashville on Friday night.
You're fine. It's all right. People don't forget those kind of things, but I forgive.
I'm sorry, I didn't come either, Jake. I also didn't get invited, so.
To the Central Division we go, and speaking of going on break, I think the break comes at a good time for almost everybody in this division when you look at the streaks column, and so speaking of frustration, first the Nor'easter, right? You want to talk about every game they play as a 1-goal game. It feels like every game they lose right now is a 1-goal game. Obviously, Providence, the one team that has their streak going in the other direction, but in terms of the break for this division, how do these teams reset and then come back? Because I do still feel like this division could be wide open for the taking for whoever who wants it.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think you just kind of look at, the good that you've done if you're all these teams. And for lack of better words, don't look at the bad. But I mean, maybe, yeah, look at some of these games. You still have a lot of in-game or in-division games left, and kind of just focus on yourselves. And obviously the acquisition deadline in February is kind of creeping up too. So maybe these teams maybe look and try to see if they can find 1 or 2 pieces to kind of throw into the puzzle and see if they can shake something up a little bit.
And you brought up the Nor'easter, Neil, and I remember you asked us in a podcast a couple of weeks ago if they should be feeling the pressure, and that was ahead of December. I said no. Unfortunately for them, they should now start feeling pressure. And it's not really their own fault. I mean, like you said, it was a lot of close games, but I mean, I told them it was going to be they should have a big December, hopefully come out of it at 500. They've obviously dropped some in a row, but I mean, when you look at their IR on their line chart, you're like, okay, that's probably why. And like, we're talking about top guys. We're talking about Gavin Brandon. We're talking about Micaiah Bascom that had to miss a game. Josh Petrini, Jackson Gruber. Like, these are hefty losses for the Nor'easter right now. They are feeling it. But, yeah, no, good for Providence. I mean, we saw them struggle a little bit at the November showcase in Walpole. So, good way to turn things around. They got a great win against the Bears. That was another one of the best games of the showcase. So yeah, huge for Providence. We wanted they wanted to see themselves solidify their hold on the top spot in that Central Division. And with HCRI dropping that game against the Eagles, they're in a good spot right now going into the new year.
Well, did you see the detail on the line chart? 14 days,
28 day, 14. I love that.
I didn't know we had that. I didn't know we had that in the league.
And you run this place.
Yes.
Well, Hef's got like his own like custom line chart.
My point
he does
is
things very well. We've talked about the Hefferisms. Greg Heffernan is does a lot of things well.
Baseball used to have like the 15-day DL, like very specific, right?
Yep.
I just didn't realize that we had timelines like that. But I understand what
Now we do.
I understand what he's getting at. He's trying to
Right.
tell
This
the
got to be
college
out 2
coaches
weeks.
how long they'll be out for, right?
Right.
I saw it for the first time and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So
I love that.
yes.
Me and Jake actually were talking about that at one point in the conference room, I think, before one of the games. So all the coaches, if you'd like to do that, we'd appreciate it because then we can update the world on the games, and then the college coaches get updated, which is what we're all here for, to move them on. It's a great thing. It's a good system.
The conference room or the room that you were calling the games in, because when you were about inside the mezzanine,
Oh, the aquarium.
did it feel like you were calling the game for like the people in that room also?
Yeah, Joe Sindoni coined it perfectly. He literally said, "We're in an aquarium, Jeff." But he's like, "But who's the animals? Are we the animals or are they the animals? Like, are they the?"
That's a great point.
I feel like they were, because they're moving fast and they're doing crazy things on the ice, and I'm just kind of standing in stationary behind the glass. It felt like COVID again. It kind of creeped me out a little bit at times, especially because I could like kind of hear whistles and stuff, but kind of not. Then I was hearing stuff behind me, and I thought there was a whistle, and I almost stopped. And then I'm like, "Nope, that's the rink behind me, not your rink." So I was a little fishy, but maybe next time take the directions of Dave Thuralt and yeah, pun intended, fishy.
That's a good
They
one,
just
dude.
didn't they installed the pixel on the wrong wall. They were supposed to, Dave gave specific instructions to do it on the inside. They did it on the inside conference room, not the inside wall of the rink. So that's permanent unless they want to rip that out and redo it.
So funny. To the South Division we go.
Anyways, off the rails. That's my soapbox.
Jeff's in a fishbowl. This is like Finding Nemo. Anyways, the Bears lead in the division is down to 3 points now. And obviously the 87s have the games in hand. And it's giving the deja vu feeling. And it's not in a bad way where they're getting their doors blown off. They've lost a 1-goal game to Providence, a 2-goal game to the Wizards, but how do they come back from break with December over
behind you?
January
Bear?
and remove this feeling of deja vu? Because I can't be the only one that's feeling that way.
Here's the thing. I felt like last year they were hibernating, right? This year, I think they're just like getting the short end of the stick. I mean, Jeff, like 2 posts in each half in that Dukes game, right? Like you don't like that's just, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do there? Like you're that. I mean, they dominated that game. They absolutely pushed the pace. They had an odd man rush every 2 minutes. And then in the Wizards game, I mean, that was a super tight game. The Capitals game was decided by a goal. Nick Hansen was great. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the way the Bears are playing right now. Whereas in December of last year, they just looked a little bit lackluster. This team still looks like they're fighting and they're playing hard. Like I have no concerns about the Bears, but the top spot is 100% in jeopardy right now, but I don't really think that matters all that much.
I mean, one area that really worries me, we talked about a little bit, Jake, is they've now played 5 different goalies. I'm not sure what's going on as far as
that's correct. Yeah.
Right? Like Hacker has committed to Wilkes. We know he's going to be playing. He's an absolute building in the net at 6'8". He's won a lot of games for them, but we saw Zaus Landry come in. We saw James, is it Mikos? Is that Mikos? So we saw a couple different goalies. Did Hacker even get a start? Because the games I did, he did not. And I just don't know. That's the most important, arguably the most important piece of your puzzle when it comes to a good hockey team. So, I mean, you got to figure out your goaltending in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's tough. I don't want to put too much stock in a January game. But you come back from break and the first game for both the 87s and the Bears is against each other. Mm-hmm. That is a massive game for the Bears. I mean, just for morale, just the morale, right? Because you haven't they've had your number of recently. They're clearly chasing you down. You take all this time to reset. You come back and then you lose that game. Like, and look at the way Philly Hockey Club is playing too, right behind them, right? I'm not gonna think too far ahead, but you can, if you win that game, it's like, okay, what took place in December is in the past. we're now in control of our own destiny again. Let's move forward. That's the way I would look at it, at least.
I think if you win that game, it's a huge exhale for the Bears, and I think they desperately need that right now.
Yeah.
That's a good point, though. Philly Hockey Club, 29 points. They're only 11 points behind New Jersey. And then, I mean, the other biggest thing, too, with that contrast, Neil Jake, is look at the goaltending side on the other side. You got Flo Fally-Puskás, who's won 10 straight games versus the Bears. Who are you starting? You got 5 goals.
Oh, yeah, and Coach Hooley said, like, Flo is his starter by a landslide right now.
Right, 100% as he should be. He's right up there with Alex Koenig, is one of the best goaltenders in the entire league right now.
And then speaking of Philly Hockey Club, they know who their guy is. Cross Boss, right?
Cross Boss. Yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
And then after that, I won't put you guys in the same spot, but that Seahawks Bandits kind of debate is the same exact thing as Huntsman Little Fires, really.
Ooh.
When you look at one team gets in, one team doesn't. So we're really focusing just on the EHL on this week's podcast, and because we're coming off that showcase, let's go over some of the records that we have to keep an eye on down the stretch here. So I don't know if you guys saw, but I've updated where things are at. First with the EHL, Koenig now has 9 shutouts all time.
Wow.
I don't know if
Past Stefan Kulanic, our old friend.
I don't know if he'll get 9 more.
Well, according to Jake, I mean, they're going to win every freaking game from here to Kingdom Come. So,
I mean, if they truly extended the winning streak to 46 games, maybe he gets 10 more then and breaks the shutout record set by Nathan Miller, with 18. But
I think Brendan Gawley's in his sights. I think he could pass 13.
I think so. He could at least finish second.
Cheney definitely in jeopardy. Travis Pelkey definitely in jeopardy at 11 for the Philadelphia Revolution.
Yes. And then in terms of total wins, I'm only showing the top 10 there, guys. In terms of all-time wins to keep an eye on, Reardon and Hansen both with 30 each. Wickens at 28. So Thomas Walker, Billy Gerard, 42 each. Can somebody win 12 more games, playoffs included, possibly, to crack into the top 10 all time?
That's tight. That's
in terms of regular season, 7 shutouts so far this season for Koenig. So maybe 10 more to break the all-time record is unattainable, but you could make the case that 4 more to set the single season record is definitely possible for the Express.
Oh, without a doubt.
I hope so. That'd be pretty cool.
So in terms of team records, the winning streak for the Express, according to Jake, will be number 1 here at 46 at some point, right? So
heck yeah, dude.
But they're just a few wins away from at least putting themselves all the way up to 3rd, right? Matching the Railers 15 last year, 16 for the Avalanche 2018-19, 17 for the Revolution, and 17-18. Interesting enough, all 3 of those teams that are listed 3, 4, 5 in the winning streak reached the championship game.
Wow.
Oh, man.
You go on a big streak, right?
So you're not saying, but you're saying.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
I'm shocked Jake has not texted me since I made these updates, but clearly he hasn't noticed yet. In the EHLP, now 6th all time.
Oh, the
Zach
Spikuza. Oh, that's another fun one. If they get
say it, Neil. Providence. Say the words.
Everyone's favorite EHLP captain.
He's another one I can't wait to say if they get there.
Listen, Jake, does he have 54 more points in him?
He might get that in a week. The way he's been ripping.
Including playoffs, like he might. Like if they go on a deep run and he produces at 2 points per game, why not, right?
Yes. I guess
he's averaging like 2.5 per game right now. He's on like some ridiculous. He's making Charlie DiMartino blush from last year.
And we're entering Zachuary, so like it's gonna be good.
Oh boy.
Oh god.
Zachuary.
Like this is the stuff that I can't keep up with. Like, how did you come up with that on the spot?
That kid's the man, dude.
It's Bathtub Jake. What do you know?
Oh my god, dude. Enough.
Kid made his living in a bathtub in his younger years. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Anyways, in terms of all-time wins, Frankie Smith now up to 29 for the 87, so he's 6 away from tying Jeremy Connor for all-time wins. Him and Patrick
Another
McGill.
87. Look at that.
Yes. Him and Patrick McGillis-Shuddy, 6 and
A lot
5.
of 87s there. Cam Carmen too. Damn. Good goalies down in Jersey Shore.
And in the all-time shutout record too, Jeff, right? Obviously they have a chance, or McGillicuddy already has the 5 to match the single season record. So one more for him, he gets it. So always fun to update these pages, when winter break hits.
Now it's time for the E-Show Fantasy Challenge. Follow along on the EHL app. Available now for free on both Apple iOS and Android.
So as we start every fantasy segment, we begin with our Yahoo League, which I was all loaded up to chirp Jake, and then I checked my facts this morning, and it's not worth it, because obviously they're ahead of me in the standings. Broken blank.
What a player, Zach Hyman.
at 8 and 3, and I was like all geared up to go at them for their points against, because I know that they haven't had a lot of points against. The fewest points against in the league,
right?
But then the second fewest are me.
Well, we play Long Island hockey.
Listen, it's fantasy.
Okay. Whoa. Don't take
You can take the boys out of Long Island, but you can't take the Long Island
personally, because we've beaten each and every single one of you.
Wait, you guys have 1452. Neil, you're the second highest scoring team in the league, Neil.
I'm the second highest scoring team in the league. Correct. But in terms of points against, they have the fewest against. I have the second fewest. Listen.
Oh, I never look at points against.
Anyways, if anybody should be winning fantasy in our league,
it's Melissa.
It's Melissa, okay? She's at 1,600 points, and nobody else is even in the 1,600s. So,
she's also given up 1562. She's the second highest points against, too.
Yeah, so
I'm saying you gotta take care of your D zone. Like, that's what we do so well here on Long Island.
Yes. And then if you look at her total moves, she's made 3.
Yeah.
That's it. So drafted the best team, has the most points for, but at 7 and 4, behind DQ and BH.
I'm BH.
Yes.
I'm sniffing that last playoff spot right now after my win. I beat Austin Powers. That's Phil. Sorry, Phil. Love you, but had to do it.
If I
came back.
If I hadn't pushed so hard to change the playoff format, Jeff, you'd be in. But I pushed.
Yeah, it's all right. No, I think 6 out of 12 is enough. Eight's a lot. 6 is fine. I'll get there.
But as I always say, Jeff, if you finish in 7th and you can't make the playoffs because I changed the playoff format, Neil changes the rules of EHL fantasy every year. Psych, this year was Yahoo Fantasy, right? Yep. You can always pivot to DraftKings, which I need to say something, guys. Won $1,000 yesterday.
Oh my goodness!
Yes,
oh boy.
I had a pretty.
You were
good,
flying on DK recently.
I had a pretty good football lineup going. At one point, it was plus 3,300, but I only had one player in the 4 o'clock window, so it just went like this. I find the perfect parlay, and it doesn't hit. So last night, Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdown or over 1.5 touchdown passes. So he gets 2. Boom, check. Brandon Aubrey, over 1.5 field goals. He hits 5 a game. Boom, done. Tampa Bay, win the game, and you hit the parlay.
They lose.
What are we doing?
Yeah. I had a parlay that stunk because of the Buccaneers lost and the Eagles choking. That was great too. But yeah, DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a great place. I did win money on DraftKings Sportsbook yesterday. I actually won not 1,000. I think I won $110 on some college basketball games that I was betting on. So yeah. But maybe you want to do hockey because the 2024-25 NHL season still has that new car smell. And the action is heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's really super easy for first timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. I don't know if you newbies know that yet, but just try betting on something simple, like picking a team to win. Maybe you picked the Bruins the other night when they were down against Calgary and we were watching that at Margaritas with head coach Seth Gustin and the rest of our EHL crew. Well, you would have been a winner. Maybe you bet them while they were down And maybe you didn't. Maybe you missed the boat like me. And if you're new to DraftKings Sportsbook, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. You can call 888-789-7777 or you can visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved.
And since we have no games to watch for, we're going to wrap it up with the EHL fantasy. Jeff, I'm sorry, man.
Yep.
We never crowned the same champion twice in a row. So first, we should say Patrick Johnston, like twice in a row, like you have officially, stamped your spot in the round of champions. And probably I should figure out some way to work in like a first round bye for him. Because
he's the betting favorite
because he won November and December. So we'll figure out the format for him. But because he can't win, we go to second place. Dan K. Like it's a little preview, guys. Next week's podcast guest, too. Jeff,
oh, cool. That's nice.
Listen.
Poor Jeff.
Jeff was 6 points away. I don't even know who would have had the tiebreaker. I didn't check that far. But just to rattle off some of the names so these players can so they can feel good because they should feel good going into the holiday break. Cam Wickens, 60.8 points in December. What was the caption? Wicksember? Like, so it was, if it wasn't December, it was Wicksember for sure. Because he was great throughout the month. Alex Koenig, 49 points. I'm sure he's saying if I had as many starts, I would have had more. But anyways, I digress. Alex Lakoff in the 87s, 43 points. Those are some of the biggest names so far. Cross Sherman, 30.2. Brendan Nee had 2 wins at the showcase, 31.2. Tons of players that went off. And like we said, 3 tickets have been punched so far. And they have nothing in common from the other guys. You get Christopher Richard from the Wolves EHLP team. You get Patrick Johnston, whose son plays for the Bears EHL team. And you got Dan K, who's coming on next week's podcast to talk about the second half of the season and some things that we have planned with him. And Jeff, you've never been this close. I'm sorry.
I know. Well, I won my own fantasy championship, I think, the first year. And
yes.
then I won a team championship with you. So just to let the fans know, I know what I'm doing here, okay? But I can't figure out this round of champions thing besides this month. And the crushing thing was, how many points do you get for a power play goal again?
4.
Remind me about that. 4. I still would have down by 2 because I called Cyril Yabusic's power play goal the other day, knowing that Dan had him, and I put all my fantasy stuff aside, gave it the best call I could, but it ripped my insides out.
Oh,
I was like,
when I heard it, when I listened to it back, I thought you were yelling that it was tipped on the way through. No?
Yeah, it probably was. Maybe we should go look at it. Alo, let's go look. I still would have lost by 2, so
listen,
maybe it's better.
I'm going to end this podcast with a nice thing to say about Jake, okay? Jake, you're going to win January.
You think so?
Yes.
I already know my picks. I'm not gonna say it right now, but yeah, January, baby. I'm going with all home cooking.
Okay.
You did tell me that. You did give me a little preview.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good tease.
I like that.
We are gonna have a podcast next week after the holidays are over. So obviously take the chance to relax. I hope we all can feel better. Jeff, how far are you from Canada? 5 feet?
Like 200 miles. I might as well be 5 feet. 200 miles from Montreal.
Yes, that's so awesome.
It's cold. It's -2 up here this morning. I'm not kidding.
It was 8 here. So, and I'm in Southern
13 on Long Island, getting pizza later this week with Riley Van Sum.
Where are you guys going? We used to go to Napolini's, Jake. You ever go to Napolini's?
Never been a Napolini's, but
It's over by Hofstra. Go check it out. Really good buffalo chicken. Best buffalo chicken slice you can find. So good. Test it, or give it a test. I want to hear your review.
That's the Jake. It's a fine idea. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, please do it. Please make me happy. Please do it. Just go check it out.
So between
put it like that.
between now and our next podcast, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Hanukkah.
Yes.
Baby. Happy New Year. And dad joke, Jeff. We'll talk to you all next
year.
Nerd.
Neil's dad's a dentist.
Thanks for listening to The E Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Learn more about us at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when our next podcast episode is released.